Producing over 500 hours per week of talk radio, GCN Live is a world leader in talk radio. Archives for the following program can be found at gcnlive.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Saturday, February 6th, and welcome to Wall Street Raw. Obviously, you have other choices on a Saturday morning, so thanks for tuning in. A lot happening in the markets this past week. A little background first, of course. Again, I am the publisher, editor of vrtrader.com, which you can access many ways, WallStreetRaw.com and WallStreetRawRadio.com, but vrtrader.com is my flagship service. Last weekend we were up in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia, presenting at the World Outlook Conference. Had a tremendous turnout there, about 1,200 people. Always great going to Canada, and we do the conference every year, and we're talking about all kinds of things, everything from the direction of the stock market and the economic political situation of the world to gold and crude oil. So get a lot of that in my newsletter, so I encourage you to check that out. Again, you go to vrtrader.com. We have a lot of interesting guests on the show today. Paul Langley is going to join us from I Insure Me here on segment 2. Ken O'Keefe is going to join us on segment 3. He's with the Russell organization. The Russell organization creates the index basis for the ETFs that are used worldwide. Very prestigious guest to have on the show. And in segment 4, really a legend in the business, an old friend, and also involved with the old Wall Street radio program with Louis Rukeyser that I was involved with, Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser program. Ralph Akampura is going to be with us, who's really a teacher and innovator in the industry. He and I are both going to be guests, by the way, coming up February 20th to 23rd in New York at the Marriott Marquis Hotel for the Traders Expo. So if you're in the New York area, I'm sure they're going to have videos or copies of the reports anyway, but we're going to be guest speakers. I'll be presenting there. In fact, I'm off from there about a week, 10 days later, off to Orlando, Florida for the Money Show, which is sponsored by the same group down in Sarasota, the Gittler Group that puts together the money shows for many years, and I'll be doing that in Orlando at the Disney Contemporary Hotel. That's, I believe, March 2nd through 5th. So if you're in the Florida area or in Orlando during that time, I'm also going to be doing a very similar presentation that I did in New York, and not too dissimilar to what I did in Vancouver here the past week. Meanwhile, as you know, what we try to do here is ignore conventional media, and we try to report perhaps some stories or some insights that you don't get in the conventional media, because I don't believe the conventional media, whether it's political or whether it's financial, really tells all the story or really delves into the numbers. They're more or less mouthpieces for the government and Wall Street. You know, a lot of the criticism that we're now hearing from Bernie Sanders and I guess less from Hillary Clinton, but but sort of tied together since she seems to be joining him in that complaint against Wall Street and Goldman Sachs. Part and parcel to that is because, we're not getting the full story about what's really happening out there. People, yes, might be working, but it's part-time jobs. The income isn't what it used to be. The numbers that are being reported on the employment front, which we'll get to more in next couple segments when we go over some of the stories this past week or so in the employment sphere, really don't tell the story. So, you really have to delve deeply down there. And if you look at the markets have been telling you, they've been telling you since, it was about November 20 or December 2014 when the Dow Transportation Average topped out for over a year that there was something wrong. The Dow Transports, according to Dow Theory, tell you that something is wrong because they are a leading indicator and they have been in the downtrend and maybe they're going to bottom soon, maybe they're not. But the story is out there that something is wrong and people sense that. So there's a lot of discontent out there in the political world because of the reality of the economy. The world is in a recession. And the U.S. is moving into a recession, despite all the jabbering on the financial networks that maybe not, and so forth and so on. The markets are telling you this. Dow Industrials and S&P plunged in August of last year, came back for the most part taking out those lows. The bond market has been strong. Money's been moving into gold and silver. So the writing's on the wall, and we are going into some type of recession, maybe worse. There could be other factors besides economics. Sometimes the market senses, political events ahead. One of the stories I tell, in fact, it's in my book, Trader's Book of Volume. Before 9/11, the technical indicators were turning south and acting negative, and there was no way of knowing that the planes were going to crash into the World Trade Center. But obviously, somebody knew something or the market was nervous because it started to turn south, and we told investors at that time to be careful. In fact, in my book, The Trader's Book of Volume, since I've been really active in the market since the 1980s, we've never been caught in a market crash, including the 1987 crash. Because we see the internal market turning south, like the Dow Transports, my volume reversal indicator, which is part of my book, and the basis for VR and VRTrader.com showed negative volume coming into the market. So, we try to sidestep these things. I am not a believer that you're fully invested in the market. I'm a believer you have to get out of the market. I believe you have to not only be in the market, but you also have to be in a lot of other things. In other words, I'm not a total believer in Wall Street and the markets, because the markets are rigged worldwide. We know this. Look what happened this past couple of weeks with Japan, driving interest rates into negative territory. Look what Mario Draghi did in Europe, driving interest rates into negative territory. Look at China overtly out there manipulating the stock market, stopping trading, avoiding buying, short selling, intervening, buying themselves to try to support the market. And here in this country, we have the Plunge Protection Team, which is the working group of financial markets signed into law by Ronald Reagan in 1988. So there's on and on and on here about having rigged markets out there. So you don't want to only be in the stock market. You want to own physical real estate, hopefully income-producing property. You want to be in other physical assets, in gold and silver, perhaps timber, on and on, agricultural investments. I know friends who grow crops and sell money that way. There are investment groups that put these things together so you don't have to do it yourself. Cash is not a bad investment. Corporate bonds may not be a bad idea. I don't really trust government bonds, though everybody thinks that's the core safety place to be. So not putting all your money in the markets makes a lot of sense. And, you also have the risk of money in the banks. I know it sounds paranoid, but look what happened in Cyprus not too many years ago, where you wake up on a Monday morning and 10% of your money is gone because of a government edict. What if? It's a big what if. What if the dollar is ever devalued? We saw it happen in so many countries around the world where overnight your currency is worth a fraction of what it was worth. Could it happen in the United States? Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but that could happen too. So you don't want all your money in the banks. A lot of variables here out there. I'm not trying to scare you, but you got to be prepared for all of the eventualities. Stay tuned. We're going to talk to our next guest, Paul Langley, on segment 2.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you, too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas, is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market. The gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Today, more than ever, it's imperative that you protect your digital privacy. EDEC Digital Forensics, Signal Blocking, Anti-Radiation, Anti-Surveillance Faraday Bags shield the contents of your phones, tablets, and key fobs from 4G, Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, NFC, and more. Find us at edecdf.com/radio or call us now at 805-222-4584. That's 805-222-4584. Radio listeners get 20% off your order.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw radio show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Hi, Mark. This is Paul Langley, CEO of iInsureMe. Thank you for inviting me to your show. In just a moment, I'll share with you why we call the opportunity with iInsureMe the most common sense approach to building a true, long-lasting residual income. But first, I want to talk briefly about financial goals. Having been in the financial planning arena for the last 20 years, I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to financial goals, we all have basically the same idea. We'd like to grow our assets to the point where they can generate income sufficient to sustain our lifestyle, whether we choose to continue working or not. The more traditional route would include 401ks, IRAs, IULs, real estate, anything where a person would contribute funds, typically on a regular basis, to purchase assets with the hopes that those assets grow in value and hopefully enough to outpace inflation. Then there's what I like to call the entrepreneurial route. This is where somebody builds a business that at some point can either become self-sustaining, producing an ongoing income without the direct involvement of the business owner, or where the business can grow large enough such that the business owner can sell it for a profit. Under this business umbrella, we find everything from brick-and-mortar businesses like insurance agencies, accountants, and attorneys. You've got franchises that include fast food, carpet cleaning, education, just about anything you can imagine. And then finally, under this umbrella, we find all sorts of home-based businesses. Without going into a lot of detail, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of garbage out there in this final category. People touting incredible, almost unbelievable income claims, marketing products that do everything from curing heart disease and cancer to losing weight by eating candy. Now, you may laugh at that last one, but it actually exists. I'm not here to say what works and what doesn't work, but I think most people would agree with me that the majority of home-based business opportunities are filled more with hype than with any realistic way of building an asset to create an ongoing income, what people in the home-based business world commonly call residual income. There's a phrase I've coined called the business litmus test question. It's what allows a person to determine if an opportunity is truly a viable option for creating that ever-elusive residual income, or if it's nothing more than just a money game. Here's the question. Would anybody purchase this product or service at its current price, even if there were no opportunity involved? In other words, is this a consumer-driven opportunity or a hype-driven opportunity? At iInsureMe, we show people how to take a mandatory expense and turn that into a growing residual income. There are an estimated 89 million homeowners and 220 million drivers in the United States, the majority of which are required by law to have some form of insurance coverage. What some people may not know is that every month you make that insurance premium payment, your insurance agent is getting paid. This is probably the truest form of residual income that I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong. Being a home and auto insurance agent is not easy. You make little to no money in the first 2 to 3 years that you're in business. You get to deal with customers calling you at all hours of the day and night, and you get to handle mounds of paperwork. You see, the traditional agent will work 50 to 60 hours per week for 5 to 7 years to build that residual income. And quite frankly, most agents don't make it. But those who do make it have basically built their retirement. Would you work hard for 5 to 7 years if you knew you could retire at that point? I think most people would say yes until they try it. As the saying goes, if it were easy to do, everyone would do it. At iInsureMe, we have structured a model that both simplifies and speeds up this process. We can show anyone exactly what it takes to build a full-time residual income in as little as 10 to 15 months, working about 5 to 10 hours per week. If you'd like to know how we do that, please get a pen and paper ready for a phone number that I'm going to give you. We have put together a 20-minute introduction video that explains all of the details of our program. If you like what you see, you'll be able to schedule a one-on-one phone consultation with one of our in-house representatives. To get a link to the video, please call our 24-hour message line at 520-485-0717. Again, that number is 520-485-0717. Everyone you know pays for home and auto insurance because they have to. Why not show them how to turn that expense into an income? It's been my pleasure to share with you the most common sense approach to building a true, long-lasting residual income with the I Insure Me turnkey agency opportunity.
Paul, thank you so much for that introduction. And I brought Paul on the show because I'm participating myself in this program, and I wanted to offer it to all our listeners. Basically, you have to buy home and auto insurance, unless, of course, you don't have a home or you don't have an auto. It's mandatory. It's required by law, particularly if you have a mortgage. As you know, the mortgage company requires home insurance. So when Paul introduced this concept to me, where I could actually earn a commission on my own home and auto insurance that I'm paying every year, plus offer the possibility that I can show this to friends and others and generate some cash flow on top of everything else, I jumped on it. Just think about it. Again, everyone needs these home and auto insurance, so why not turn that expense into an income? And this is what I've started to do for myself. And really, I Insure Me, and that's the name of the company, is a common-sense approach to building a true and long-lasting income. And many, many agents, property and casualty agents out there, are turning to I Insure Me because they deal as a general agency with many, many insurance companies. You're not locked into one big-name company as many other agents are. At some point, you do have to get a property and casualty license. It takes about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days on an internet course. I had one for many years, so there was no problem for me, but it's a simple process. But it's a way of building, again, some long-lasting income. So, again, call 520-485-0717. That's 520-485-0717. That's their message line, and they will get back to you about the I Insure Me program. Again, I know it sounds like a bit of a commercial, but I am involved in this, and it's a way of generating some cash flow. Remember, the stock market is not the only place to be, and just as a sideline, you might generate some nice income. So stay tuned. We've got another very special guest coming up here on segment 3, Mr. O'Keefe, and we'll be back with you at that time.
WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I impartially shot the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If SelectQuote hasn't shopped for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to SelectQuote.com. We shop. You save. Get full details in the example policy at SelectQuote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common-sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com.
It's my pleasure to welcome a very special guest this Saturday morning on Wall Street Raw, Ken O'Keefe, who's the Managing Director and Global Head of ETPs at the FTSE Russell Company. Ken O'Keefe is Managing Director, part of the London Stock Exchange Group, LSEG. Ken joined LSEG in 2014 when it acquired Russell Investments. In his new role with FTSE Russell, Ken is responsible for developing and coordinating the global ETP licensing strategy for Information Services Division of the London Stock Exchange Group. Boy, Ken, that's a lot of information for our listeners. Can you give listeners a sense of what Russell does and how they could benefit from going to Russell and accessing the various products?
Thanks very much, Mark. Yeah, we'll try to simplify that. So I head up our global ETF, exchange-traded fund licensing business at FTSE Russell. And FTSE Russell indexes are used as the basis of over 480 ETFs and comprising $385 billion in AUM as of the end of 2015. And we work through, big ETF partners that are going to be very familiar to, a lot of your listeners. Think of iShares, Vanguard, SSGA, PowerShares, Deutsche Bank. clients along those lines.
So the various products that you offer, can we go down a list of if an investor is looking at the FTSE Russell product line? I know there's probably many more than we can cover on the air. Can you give us a sense of the type of products that are available to the individual investor?
Sure. The indexes that we have are actually hundreds of thousands, but the marquee ones that your listeners are going to be very familiar with are like the Russell 1000, Russell 2000 for small cap, Russell 1000 value and growth. FTSE products could be like FTSE Emerging Markets, which is the benchmark for some very large ETFs, and the FTSE 100, which is the big benchmark for the UK. And then those indexes are then used and tracked by ETF providers to create ETFs, and then, of course, your listeners can invest in those ETFs.
Okay, so if an investor is looking to participate in the stock market, how does he begin? Does he call a broker? Does he call Russell directly? How does this process begin?
That's a great question. So they would call their broker directly if they were interested in a particular ETF that's based on a FTSE or a Russell index. And, of course, they can go online and get any information at FTSERussell.com regarding any of our indexes.
So the advantage of Russell over other competitors, I don't want to put you in the corner here, but why Russell versus Schwab, Vanguard, any of the big names out there?
So, again, that's a great clarifying question because Schwab and Vanguard are, in fact, our clients. They're licensing our indexes, either the Russell indexes or the FTSE indexes, and then they're creating an exchange-traded fund that's designed to track that index. And there are some of the largest, ETFs in the world are based on FTSE and Russell indexes from a variety of exchange-traded fund providers. And again, you can go on our website and do the research you'd like to better understand how the markets are performing, how the indexes are performing, and understand the methodologies of the indexes. And then if you want to actually invest in the market that index represents, then you need to do your research on an exchange-traded fund that tracks that index. And then it's as simple as calling your broker and say, hey, I'd like to buy this particular iShares, Vanguard, Schwab ETF that's based on the Russell 1000 index as an example, or the Russell 2000 index.
Okay, so essentially you're creating the index, and we have other companies mirroring the index you've created, and they're creating the actual ETFs or ETNs then. So it isn't a question of the investor investing directly in a Russell product.
That's exactly right. It's analogous to being like Intel inside. If you're going to go buy a computer, what's the chip inside that's, if you will, just running it? Well, the index inside 480 ETFs around the world are either a FTSE index or a Russell index. And again, that exchange-traded fund provider is trying to exactly replicate that index.
So if clients want more information, should they go to the Russell website, or should they go to their broker and just ask for a Russell product?
Probably makes sense to start off looking at the FTSE Russell website because, all of our indexes are up there for everybody to review. You can look at the performance of those indexes, the risks of those indexes, and then, investing through a financial advisor is highly recommended. And, then I'd recommend talking to a financial advisor about exchange-traded funds based on those indexes.
Okay, in the few seconds we have left, Ken, so what is that website? How do they look that up? What's the address?
So it's FTSERussell.com, FTSERussell.com.
That sounds pretty straightforward. FTSERussell.com. And Ken, I know how time flies here. Believe it or not, we've just exhausted our 6-minute window here, but it was such a pleasure having you. And again, listeners, if you want to get more information on the FTSE Russell products, please go to their website, FTSERussell.com. That's RUSSELL.com. And I'm sure you can learn a lot about how this is all calculated and what Russell really does and the great service they provide to the investment industry. Ken, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you again, Ken, for being with us. I know it sounds a little Sophisticated there with the Russell 2000 group, or the Russell group creating the Russell 2000 index, and then we have the ETFs created afterwards. But they've been around for decades, and they're really really the leaders out there in creating the indexes for many of the ETFs that exist. So check it out. ETFs are a great way to participate in the market. You're not picking individual stocks. You're playing the direction of the market, up or down. As you know, there are ETFs that are offered that play both the bear markets and the bull markets, the ones that play every sector, including gold and treasury bonds and so forth, and we use those all the time at vrtrader.com. As a way of, quote-unquote, timing the market, which 90% of the analysts out there will tell you not to do and to stay fully invested, but that's not our philosophy. I don't like riding the market down 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. I'd rather be in cash. We are traders at vrtrader.com, but we had been bearish and we were playing inverse indexes. In fact, one of our positions this past week has been on and off the last couple, 3 months, the inverse Dow Industrials ETF. That's a ProShares product, not a Russell-related product, but it's still an ETF. So something you can look at, and I strongly urge you to do so if you are in the markets. It's always the thought, buy the S&P and just sit there and hold. Well, if you're in a downtrend, why not buy the inverse S&P and participate where we're in a bear cycle? And we are in a bit of a bear cycle here. We don't know how long this is going to last. We have to watch our numbers. But it appears, as I said at the top of the show, we are headed into a bit of a recession. And the world's already in a recession, so no great surprise there. And, of course, you can participate. Or, for that matter, if you're uncomfortable, you can simply stay in cash. Well, my next segment coming up here in just a few moments is going to be a good friend, Ralph Akampura. So don't change that dial. Stay tuned for Ralph, and we'll be back with you momentarily.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market tsunami, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free Vice News Raw report. You will receive it weekly, and it is totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw report at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com for your free weekly report from Mark Leibovit and WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver. By
now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
It's a real pleasure welcoming a very, very special guest, an old friend and contact on Wall Street. In fact, one of the most senior analysts on Wall Street, Ralph Acampura. Ralph serves as Managing Director of Altera Investment Solutions. Ralph has extensive experience in market analysis, working as a market historian and technical analyst. He has also taught technical analysis subject at the New York Institute of Finance and Securities Industry Institute at Wharton. Ralph serves as a director of the boards of several companies, as a trustee of the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. In addition, he's among a group of practitioners that successfully lobbied the Securities and Exchange Commission to recognize the Chartered Market Technicians designation. That's a CMT. He's a member of the New York Society of Security Analysts, and we go on and on. Ralph, it's such an honor having you. Ralph has been, a guest and I believe an elf on the Louis Rukeyser television program for many years ago. So us old-timers know Ralph, but the young generation recognizes his great talents. Thank you for being with us, and let's talk a little bit about your appearance at the upcoming Money Show.
Well, thank you, Mark, for that wonderful introduction. Yes, I'm very excited about it. In fact, my theme was going to be the oldest theory in technical analysis called Dow's theory, and I think it has a lot to say about the current market. In fact, of course, we're all concerned about what's happened in the first part of 2016, but I think the story really starts in 2015, and that's what the theory will bring up, and that'll lead into my conversation.
Yes, I have to correct my comments here. It's really the Traders Expo coming into New York on February 20th that Ralph will be speaking at. I mentioned the Money Show because there is a Money Show. I don't think you'll be speaking at that, correct?
Yes.
So, I know the Dow theory is an important one, and we all know that the Dow transports has created a little bit of a problem there with that theory in terms of confirming a little bit of a bear market. Do you want to talk a little bit about the market this morning? We seem to be in a little bit of a bear cycle starting last year.
Yeah, well, again, getting back back to Dow theory, as I interpret it, August 20th, you actually got the bear market signal, and Dow theory it never gives you the degree of the decline. It just says, hey, heads up, this could be a problem. And it did it. And you're right. It was the transportation average. It actually peaked in December of 2014. So throughout 2015, there had been this divergence, as we refer to it, the two averages going in different directions. I think the low that we made on January 20th for the S&P, the intraday low was 1812. I think that's very critical. We should get a rally off this level. So far, we've gotten sporadic rally. Hopefully, there's more because it's like putting a beach ball on the water, Mark, and you're really oversold. You got that ball down there, and you let your hand go. It pops. Well, the market popped, but not as much as it should have. So I'm watching very carefully the next couple of days and see if we get some further upside follow-through.
We've had some excitement in the beleaguered gold market here as of late. It seems to be coming up a bit. I have to admit I'm a bit of a gold bug, a little stubborn in that regard. Do you see gold continuing to move higher?
Yeah, well, I've had arguments on the various boards I'm on regarding the long-term outlook for gold, and I've been a little tentative. But in the last 2 months, it appears that it's made a bit of a bottom, and my recent upside target is around 1,200 on gold. I don't know if I got it much higher than that, but there's a different wrinkle now. It's the direction of the U.S. dollar. Now, the dollar had, I think, a pretty interesting breakdown, a serious one, short term, a couple of days ago. And if that's true, and the dollar continues to weaken, I think there's your strength in gold, and maybe you'll take it even a little higher than 1,200.
We seem to have a very indecisive Federal Reserve, and I know you're a technician and not an economist, but we all write about what's going on out there, and it seems like one day they're looking to stranglehold the economy a little bit by raising interest rates. Then they have a little bit of jawboning coming out, saying, "Well, maybe it's not going to happen so fast." How much of a role do you think the Fed plays in the scenario for both stocks and gold going forward?
Oh, I think they're a big part of it. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. I think they've done a great job over the last 4 or 5 years, handling the situation. And it's about time rates go up a little bit, but I think they have to do it gradually.
If you look at the chart of, I'm going to put you in the technician's seat again, Ralph. If you look at the chart of the Treasury bonds, they've been doing well and a bit of an uptrend despite all the talk of higher interest rates. What do you make of that pattern?
Well, I think you're right. I think bonds going a little bit higher, and I think a lot of that has to do with money from the outside. Where are you going to get a better return than in the U.S.? So I think as long as money flow keeps going into the bonds, you'll see rates go lower in that area.
Ralph, if our listeners here at Wall Street Raw want to get in touch with you and the company that you're currently working with, Altera, how would they reach you?
Well, my email is r.akampora@altera, ALTAIRA.com.
Please repeat that for our listeners one more time.
r.akampora, that's ACAM, P as in pizza, ORA, at Altera, ALTAIRA.com.
Great. So thank you. And, we're again speaking to Ralph Akampora, really senior technical analyst on Wall Street. And if you don't really realize, as I have, what an honor to have him on the program. It's really unbelievable because he's been a teacher and lecturer out there and a guide for so many people over the years. And we all look forward to hearing him at the Traders Expo in New York in that February 20, 21st, 22nd time frame. I'll be there, too. And, Ralph, thank you so much for joining us. And have a great week.
May I make one more comment?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think as an investor, I think the best area to be in is high dividend, because I think historically, if the market does weaken, they will not go down as much. They're a good defensive mechanism, and I think in this volatile environment, it's probably the best place to be. High dividend.
Well, thank you so much for that insight. Okay, our listeners, that's what we have to look at. Thank you again, Ralph, and we'll speak to you real soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Thank you again, Ralph, for being with us. on our show today. It's really a pleasure having you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Traders Expo in New York coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So all of you, mark your calendar. I'm going to be there too. We don't have a lot of time on the show. Let's quickly look at some of the active stocks this week. On the upside, and the point gainers, ALR was up nicely this week, up 16 points to 53.20. We had Michael Kors up about 12 points this week to 51.84. This is all despite, a negative week of the market. Mallinckrodt Chemical, Mallinckrodt up about 11.5 points to 69.48. Royal Gold, that's RGLD, that was up on 9.5 points at 39.22. Cummins was up 9 points to 99. So despite a down week, we saw some interesting gainers there, and of course some of it was in the gold area. I've talked about gold on this show. We might as well close with that. I've been talking about here for the last couple of months that it was in a bottoming pattern, and gold got up to that 1175 area during the week, and it does appear it's going to trend higher this year. I've sort of stuck my neck out saying it could be that 1,300, 1,400 range, and maybe silver up to 18. So obviously these are not back to the big highs we saw in November 2011, but definitely a bit of a flight to safety there. And as Ralph and I talked about on the interview, the bond market has been strong as well. So money is looking for a bit of safety here. I don't think we're out of the woods yet, but again, it's a political year. I've been writing about the possibility of a QE4 coming in on the part of the Fed, maybe the end of this year or next year, particularly if the U.S. goes into recession, as it appears to be the case. So there's going to be some defensive plays here along the way, and at some point the ball will turn, and the direction will turn, particularly the Fed gets aggressive, and we could see the market again explode to the upside. The long-term trend for the last 100 years has been up, and we do get these big shakeouts along the way. So the question is this a 10% or 50% correction? And we'll know as time moves forward. As Ed Hart used to say on the old Financial News Network, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us on Wall Street Raw, and speak to you next week.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to WallStreetRawRadio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, help you avoid the next big market crash, and also stay healthy to enjoy your wealth. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of the Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free weekly Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free Gold News Raw report. You will receive both weekly, and both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, enzymes and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll-free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.